A looming cloud over the crypto industry, the Mt. Gox debacle, is coming to a head slowly but surely. So, 2014 was the year Mt. Gox was hacked and a load of Bitcoin went missing. Since then, there have been many attempts to repay those creditors who are owed a substantial amount of Bitcoin, almost 140,000 of them, and some, I think it's 66 billion yen, around $490 million worth of fiat currency. But recently, 7th of October, there was a new installment to the saga here with the potential for registration by claimants to select a repayment method. So within this, we're going to have a little look at the new update here and what has been going on. If you enjoy the content, subscribe to the channel. So Mt. Gox Exchange is one step closer to getting funds back into the creditors' hands here. The trustee, led by Mr. Kobayashi, put out a letter on October 6th and has now been doing the rounds here, where they've requested creditors to log into the claim portal and complete essentially a KYC and then select their repayment method of choice. But if you do not complete the necessary documentation here, then you pretty much have to find your ways over to the Mt. Gox head office and receive Japanese yen. So it's highly imperative that claimants do actually go ahead and get this sorted. So what we're seeing here is a speeding up of this process. It is coming to a head here. Today, the KYC procedure and payment detail registration has been started by the Mt. Gox trustee. Deadline for creditors, January 10th, 2023. No repayments can be expected before January 10th, 2023. So this January headline is now being bandied around, and potentially this could be an area of anxiety in the market, as this is obviously a lot of Bitcoin that could come to the market around this date. So we might see a sell-off in anticipation of this. So the dark cloud still looms. What will happen? Will claimants start dumping their Bitcoin? Will they want to liquidate for cash? Or are they going to hold on to their crypto assets? So this is the letter that actually went out on October 6th. And what this actually describes is a detailed process as to how to go ahead and complete your KYC information, which actually pertains to you putting in information such as your income, your expenditure statements, updating potentially your address, and how you want to receive this type of payment. Now, the format of payment that you may receive could be in cash or crypto, but not solely crypto as it seems. So potentially this means that there's not enough crypto to go round if everyone wants to just claim BTC, for example. They have a whacking great amount of Japanese yen that needs to be distributed, but maybe this also alludes to the fact they will have to liquidate some potentially. So the repayment options are via early lump sum repayment, that sounds like cash, and then secondly, a repayment for a portion of cryptocurrency in cryptocurrency. So say you are owed BTC, you could get a portion of your BTC back. But this sounds to me like language that alludes to the fact you're not going to get all crypto back, you're going to have to get some cash back. And then we have also payment by bank remittance and remittance through a fund transfer service provider. So the question gets posed once again, do creditors wish to receive cash or Bitcoin in potentially a very rough stage of a bear market, post-Christmas, January 2023, with the continuation of a tightening cycle that's going on around us and economic collapse potentially? I think a lot of people will opt for cash here, but it does sound like from this statement that there is no option for crypto only and you will have to receive some cash. So whether that means they need to liquidate in order to do that, we're not really sure. But that is quite interesting to read. So the sum total, 137,890 Bitcoins, around $2.7 billion worth, anticipated to be released sometime between January and potentially July of 2023. Now, why those specific dates? Well, if you go to Alex Kruger's Twitter here, I think he's posted some information that I couldn't find directly through Mt. Gox or anything like that, or the media outlets. So it seems that he's published some form of email or note that he's received as a creditor. So within this document, it asks to select a payment on your base repayment level, either A, an intermediate repayment and final repayment, or B, an early lump sum repayment. So those are options for cash-based repayments. And then in section 2, a selection of repayment method for crypto rehabilitation. So if you're owed cryptocurrency, then you can either A, select to receive it as crypto, or B, in the form of fiat currency. So again, alluding to some form of liquidation of crypto to fiat. And then on the second page here, he's posted up, there are some deadlines stated here. Base repayment deadline, July 31st, 2023. An intermediate repayment deadline of July 31st, 2023 as well. And then for the cryptocurrency repayment reference date, it says January 10th, 2023. So it's not clear whether the July date is like the final cutoff date that all repayments need to be done by, but it does seem from these documents here that between January 10th, 2023 up to July 31st, 2023 would be the time frame within which they're expecting to make repayments via fiat or crypto back to the creditors. Then in terms of off-ramps, the exchanges that have been selected are unknown so far apart from Bitstamp, as they've put out a blog post saying, look, we're going to be one of the chosen exchanges to help the rehabilitation process for creditors. So I think they're jumping on the marketing hype there around this, but other exchanges will also be available to those creditors as well. Now, if we just look at the charts, obviously Bitcoin currently around $19,000. We have support down here on the yellow lines at around 17.5 as, the wick low, and also a previous area where we did stop off around here in December of 2020. And then we're looking to a very shaky looking support level around 16.5 as well. Those are figures that have been banded around by a lot of people, around 16, 17K as potential lows. But could this be the catalyst to actually drive us down towards this kind of area? Well, back at the end of August, if we zoom in, this was an initial date proposed that we thought there was going to be a repayment of the Mt. Gox funds. This did the headlines. This was an expected or anticipated date, the end of August. And within this period here, we had a bit of a market sell-off. And if you remember back to that, there's quite a lot of anxiety in the market. So around this region here, where people were expecting Mt. Gox BTC to be dumped on the market, and we sold off in anticipation of that. So again, although the event itself may not be all that catastrophic, say just 50% of the Bitcoins make their way to market sell on that specific date, January 10th, for example, well, the market typically could absorb that with obviously some downside action, but this isn't going to send us to 10K in one fell swoop. But what has a bit more of an impact is the fact that people are trading around these big news events and people expect prices to go lower into it. And so thus we have a bit of a sell-off prior. So I think going into January of 2023, this again will do the news headlines once more, and this could mean we come and test some of these areas of key support down here, 17.5, or even as low as 16.5 if we're not there already. So with creditors now selecting their repayment methods from the Mt. Gox hack, the conclusion of this catastrophic event in crypto history will be finalized. Will it be January? Will it be up to July of 2023? Uncertain, but it does look like 2023 is the year Mt. Gox creditors will get their funds back. Drop me a comment down below. Do you think this will see us sell off into the event, or do you think the event itself, the potential mass selling of Bitcoins as they're released to people who have been waiting around 9 years at that point to receive their funds, start to sell? Let me know down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.